dying breath by breath. The last thing I saw before everything went black was the frozen river rushing up to meet me, white, endless, and silent. Cold! That was the first thing I felt when I woke. Then pain. The world was white and broken. My plane lay twisted across the ice, wings torn like paper. Steam rose from the shattered engine. I tried to move, but a bolt of agony shot through my leg. The harness had locked tight, pinning me in place. I fumbled with the buckle, hands numb. When it finally gave way, I fell onto the snow, gasping. Blood spread across the ice in a thin red bloom. For a long while, I just lay there, watching my breath drift upward. The sky was clear now, quiet, almost peaceful. Somewhere far above, ravens circled. I pulled myself toward a patch of reeds, near the riverbank. My leg dragged uselessly, leaving a dark trail behind me. Each meter felt like a kilometer. Then I heard it, engines. Low, heavy, growing closer. German trucks. I pressed myself flat against the ice, heart hammering. Through the reeds, I saw them. Soldiers in gray coats, rifles slung over their shoulders, moving across the frozen river toward the wreck. They were laughing. One pointed at the yak's broken tail, another kicked a piece of metal aside. If they found me, it would be over. I reached for my pistol. Only 3 rounds left. My hand trembled. I thought of Misha, of the others who hadn't come back, of Kirov waiting by the hangar. The soldiers were closer now, 20 meters, maybe less. I could hear their boots crunching on the snow. A shout. One of them had spotted my trail. I fired once. The sound cracked across the river like thunder. A man dropped. The others scattered, shouting in German. I fired again, missed, then again click. Empty. I crawled backward through the reeds, blood seeping into the snow. The river's edge gave way beneath me, plunging me into black water. The cold hit like knives. I bit down on a scream and let the current pull me under the ice. Darkness closed around me. When I surfaced again, it was downstream, near the ruins of a bridge. The Germans were dots on the horizon now, searching in the wrong place. I dragged myself out of the water, shaking uncontrollably. I looked back once at the sky. The same sky Misha had vanished into. Somewhere beyond those clouds, the war was still raging. But down here, on the frozen river among ghosts and ice, I understood something new. The sky didn't care who won. It only remembered who fell. By the time I reached the tree line, night had fallen. My body was shaking so violently, I could barely crawl. The wet fabric of my flight suit had frozen stiff, and every breath burned my lungs like frostfire. Somewhere in the woods, a wolf howled. I laughed quietly to myself. It sounded almost human. Maybe it was fitting. Out here, we were all animals now. I tore a strip from Misha's scarf and tied it tight around my leg to stop the bleeding. It wasn't much, but it kept me moving. Step, stumble, breathe. Step, stumble, breathe. The rhythm became everything. Hours passed. Or minutes. Time had lost meaning long ago. At last, a flicker of light, faint, orange, and low to the ground. I crawled toward it. My hands sank into cold mud. The smell of smoke grew stronger. When I reached the edge of a clearing, I saw them, 3 Soviet infantrymen huddled around a small fire beside a wrecked truck. Their uniforms were filthy, their faces hollow. They looked like ghosts that hadn't realized they were dead. One of them raised his rifle. Stop. Identify yourself. Pilot. Yak 1. 32nd Squadron, my voice cracked. They exchanged glances. Then one approached, grabbed my arm and hauled me upright. You're lucky we saw the fire from your crash, he said. We thought no one survived. Neither did I whispered. They pulled me closer to the flames. The heat bit into my frozen skin, and for the first time since the crash, I felt something like life again. Someone handed me a piece of black bread, hard as stone. I chewed slowly, letting it thaw on my tongue. What's your name, comrade? The youngest asked. Petrov. Lieutenant. He nodded. Volkov. This is Sidorov and Levin. Volkov stared into the fire. You picked a bad place to fall. Germans are pushing from the west. We're cut off from command. How far to Stalingrad? I asked. By foot. Maybe 2 days. If you don't freeze first. 2 days. It felt impossible, but so had surviving that crash. I leaned back against the truck, staring at the thin strip of stars above the trees. Tomorrow we would start walking. Maybe we'd reach our lines. Maybe not. But at least I wouldn't die alone in the snow. Somewhere far away, artillery rumbled. The sky flickered orange for a moment, then went dark again. I closed my eyes and thought of Kirov waiting by the hangar, of Misha's laughter over the radio. If I made it back, I'd fly again. Not for glory. Not for revenge. But because up there, even in war, I felt closest to what it meant to be alive.